Hey you guys, I'm gonna have to do a voiceover on this particular video right here. There was so much background noise there on the interstate where I gather this stuff. You just couldn't hear me talk, so we know how that goes. But what I'm showing you here, you all, is wild ginger. Wild ginger, you guys, used for everything from cooking to healing of the body. Female complaints, heart conditions, nausea, vomiting, sweating out colds and flu, all sorts of different things that you can use wild ginger for. When I get the stuff home, you see me gathering the wild ginger right there. It's growing right on top of the ground. It has that heart-shaped leaf to it. Really beautiful in the spring of the year. It's got some really pretty flowers on it. But make sure when you're doing this, you guys, I'm not telling you to go out. I'm not a doctor. I'm not telling you to go out for any condition and use wild ginger, okay? But when I get back to the studio where there's not a lot of noise, I will talk a little bit more about it. You can see how loamy the soil is. This likes to grow on the dark sides of mountains. My daddy showed it to me years ago, about 50 years ago, when we were digging ginseng. So he said, that is wild ginger. And sure enough, this don't look like cultivated ginger. So when somebody comes on here and tells me this is not ginger, you just don't know anything about wild plants. So don't bother commenting on this video if you're that unknowledgeable about wild plants. So let's go home. Let's go to the workshop, you guys, into the studio, and we'll talk about this. All right, you all, back here in the nice, quiet studio. There's one thing about it, you all, when you get ginger wild from the woods, you bring that stuff in, you don't have to break it to smell it. You can smell the ginger. See what your root looks like. Now, I've been using wild ginger for years. My dad showed me that stuff, you guys, gosh, 50 years ago now it's been, because we were ginseng hunting somewhere, and he started digging up this root and putting it into his mouth and chewing on it, and he said chew that root. So I said, well, what is it? He said, it's wild ginger. So my dad showed me wild ginger. Well, wild ginger, you guys, used by the Native Americans from anywhere from female complaints, heart trouble, to stomach conditions, okay? Anything that makes you nauseous, we know that ginger works for that. Motion sickness, ginger, okay? Now, you can make a tincture out of wild ginger to use it that way, okay? Because wild ginger is very potent. Don't just grab up some wild ginger and, put you a spoonful of it in your mouth and swallow it, because it's going to set you on fire. That's not the way you use it. This is to be added to dishes when you're cooking with it very sparingly. That's why you dry it and you use it as a powder. Just sprinkle it over your dish and add it to what you're cooking to when you're wanting that ginger, that spice, to that taste, in other words. But anyway, you all, just make sure you use caution when you're doing these kind of things. I'm not telling you as a doctor to go out here and use ginger for anything, all right? Because I'm not a doctor. If you need to see your doctor, go see your doctor. But I know what the Indians use these plants for because I've been studying them. And I don't make gigantically long videos about it because to me, that's nonsense. What people do when they're doing that is they're trying to show you how smart they are. But generally, if you watch a lot of these people who tell you about this stuff, they don't use these plants. They just look them up and tell you about them. Well, I'm going to the woods. I'm getting ginger. I'm going to cut this ginger up. I will dry it in my dehydrator. And this particular batch, you guys, I'm going to make tincture out of. So you can just put those drops under your tongue. Then if somebody is nauseated for some reason or another, which, I hate nausea. Worse than anything I think that I've ever been through would be nausea. Either that or a bladder infection. But when you take ginger, you're just naturally going to sweat. So if you don't want to sweat, don't take ginger. By the way, you can warm yourself up during hunting season. If you just want to just warm up your body temperature just a little bit when you're out there in the cold, just take you just a little bit of ginger and chew up that root and swallow it, and you will immediately start to warm up, okay? And it works really good. If you don't believe me, you try it. It just like, even your extremities will start to warm up because ginger goes through your blood and all over your body. It causes your blood to cruise through the veins really good, okay? So with that, that's wild ginger. May the good Lord bless you. Have yourself a wonderful day.